What's up? What's up? To my East Coast sailors, what's up? What's up? To my West Coast sailors, what's up? What's up? To all my shipmates that's out to sea, one day you'll be retired like me. Welcome to another episode of Snipes Castle Live, where I bring you interviews from my shipmates that are still in the Navy, that are out the Navy. We talk about different things about life, about the Navy. And one of the things before we get into our interview with our shipmate, thanks to Teresa Keynes, topsider, for sharing her topside story with us. And I always thought as an engineer, we and engineers like, man, topsider's got a good life up there, man. I'd be a topsider wherever. But she was like, I got to get out the Navy. It's from a topsider's perspective. So I never heard that before. But thanks to Teresa Keynes out there. Much blessings to her. And thank you for that interview. We'll be taking a break for Thanksgiving weekend. However, I might still be on. Might break myself away from the craziness of my family for a little while. And I'll tell you the story that Dante Meeks. It's an interesting story. Just imagine going out on Liberty. Everything's fine. And then you come back and your bags is full of drugs. So I'm going to tell a story of Dante Meeks, possibly this coming weekend. So no live interviews. I'm telling a story of Dante Meeks. I spoke with him. And he's like, yeah, please tell my story. He didn't want to come on. So I'm going to tell his story. And now, without further ado, all right, let me give the proper intro for this young lady right here, all right? This young lady came to USS Forrest Sherman, DDG 98, as a brand new fireman. Displaying one of the best attitudes in the department, she quickly established herself as not the old king, but the old queen, keeping the oil lab inspection ready and keeping me from getting fired. Me sent the department LCBO from getting fired. She had the most photos of me sleeping. I mean, meditating on watch. I don't sleep on watch. All right. There's a difference. All right. Give it up for one of God's special ladies, super mom, super wife, the lady with one of the most infectious smiles and can-do attitudes you'll ever come across in the Navy or in life. Give it up for gas turbine systems, mechanical, surface warfare, first class petty officer, Amber Coleman Rodriguez. Give it up for Amber Coleman. Yay. How's it going? How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. All right. All right. Welcome to the Snipes Castle. Like I
Thank you.
said, we usually have a full panel, but again, I'm going to wing it again by myself, which is all good. All right. So let's start. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
I see your Instagram posts, man. You posting some, man. Yeah, nice family. Oh my
Thank
gosh, you got a nice
you.
family. You guys, God bless you, big time. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Look, every day my day starts at like 4 a.m.
Woo, yes. Oh man, I know. Believe me, I know. Oh my gosh. So let me get started. All right. Um, where are you from?
So I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and then I grew up in Maryland in Prince George's County.
Okay, Prince George's County, Maryland. Maryland, a nice place.
Yeah.
Um, now, what made you decide to join the Navy?
So I was never thinking about the Navy. And of course, a recruiter came to our class and started talking to us. And then my parents had that talk with me during my 12th grade year. And they're like, so what are you going to do? What college are you going to go to? So I started looking at applications and they were like, you got to write an essay. And I'm like, an essay? Oh no. And then I started just like brainstorming and I'm like thinking about different things. I'm like, you know what? A Navy recruiter came to our class. And then I started like selling my parents. I'm like, they pay for your college, medical, dental, X, Y, and Z.
Good
I was like,
recruiter.
I'm gonna go to the Navy. And they were like, what? Not the Air Force. I'm like, the Navy. Like, that's all I know. That's the only recruiter I saw in my school. And I knew I wasn't doing the Army or Marine. So
Yeah,
right there, it was like my impulse thought.
that's the same thing that happened to me. Came to the ward, came to my class, just like I said in the previous podcast. He came to my class, and I wasn't even, I was thinking about the military, but I wasn't really thinking about it. But he came to the class, and I was like, okay, I just zeroed in on him, but it's just like we got the same story. Recruiting the class, recruiter,
Yeah.
do them class visits.
Yeah.
I wanted Brooks here. Brooks was a former recruiter. We would have had fun with recruiting.
Yeah. And now, like, after, going recruiting and see the other side, it's just like, I get it now,
Yeah.
because
Hmm.
you plant those seeds, and I'm just like, what am I going to do? And I was 17, so my parents had to, like, sign the paperwork. I remember my dad
Yeah.
taking me to the office, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, my family thought that, like, my parents were, like, forcing me because it was like, she would never do anything like this. But I'm like, I just want to do something with my life.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Shit, I had to get out of Charleston. But that's another story we got coming up.
Actually, I'm gonna turn
Um,
the camera this way.
what what year did you join?
I joined in 2010.
2010. Okay. Um, Now when you got down to MEPS, do you remember what jobs you were offered?
I honestly don't even remember. I remember, so I wanted to do like aviation, but I didn't have depth perception.
Hmm.
But I remember just like engineering jobs like GSE, GSM, probably like EN, MM. And
Yeah.
to be honest, it all looked the same to me. And I was like young and naive. So I'm just like, whatever leaves around the time my friends go to college, just give me that.
Yeah.
My parents, like, they didn't know nothing about the military. I just had nobody in my ear. So I'm just like, yeah, whenever, whatever you all have available around September timeframe, just sign me up for that. And then
Okay.
like the processor or the person that helps you pick your jobs was like, yeah, my best friend was a GSM, blah, blah, blah. Okay, give me GSM. Like, even when I took the ASVAB and everything, like, even though I passed, I probably could have scored higher and stuff, but I was just like, just get me out of here. Like,
Hmm.
September,
That's what a
October.
recruiter like to hear that. Recruiter like
Yeah,
to hear that.
I was one of those people that was like an easy sell. Like,
Yeah.
it was definitely easy for them.
Okay. GSM. All right. How was A school for you? Was you during that time when it was pretty much computer based?
Yes, it was.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, A school
But
was good.
yeah. Great Lakes.
Yeah,
Now.
A school is actually like where I met my husband at.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was an undesignated fireman, but he ended up striking PS.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So your
but
husband he's still in the Navy?
yes,
Okay, and he's a PS.
yes. So we were both been in,
Yes.
like, he came in like a month before me.
Oh, that's cool, man. Y'all
But
almost on together.
yeah, and we have the same birthday, so that's how we kept in contact over the years.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's amazing. All
Yeah.
right. Man, the guy Brooks, he's a PS.
Oh,
But the guy on
really?
my show, yeah, he's a PS. Yeah. But yeah, that's cool. That's amazing. Um, so did you want the East Coast or the West Coast after A school?
So I wanted the East Coast since I was from Maryland. I just wanted to go to Virginia so that I would be like, close to my family. I
Hmm.
feel like I wasn't too far, but if I needed them, it was just a drive away.
Yeah, yeah, I was the same way. I was like, I gotta stay home. I gotta stay close, at least a drive away from home. I was the
Yeah.
same way. Um, how did you find out you were headed to the Forest Sherman?
So I was on a hold for a while. Yeah, I was on hold, and then like I finally had got the orders that I was going to the Fort Sherman.
Hmm.
Then Ruiz, she was my sponsor, and then Warren became my sponsor, and I had talked to Chief Amelia, so
Hmm.
I had a
Okay.
good contact with like everybody.
Okay, okay, so that's good. That's good. So you going to the Forest Sherman. Now, what was it like checking on board your first ship?
So it was okay. Like, I just remember the night that Warren came and picked me up. I was just like, man, this ship is
He, he,
little.
he
Like,
came and picked you up from the airport?
yes. So he came and picked
Okay.
me up because I didn't have no car, and it was like nighttime, like probably like 9, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Walking up the pier with all my bags because I had 1,000 bags. And I get to the ship and I'm like, this thing is small. I'm gonna be stationed on this. And then I remember when I checked in, like having a talk with you because you checked in probably a little bit before me. I checked in 2011.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just remember you like pulling me to the side in CCS, and you're like, "Look, it's gonna be boys out here. Make sure you stay focused." You just had like that daddy daughter talk with me, but I don't know. It was a little lonely at first when I checked in because usually, when you check in, people comfort you and stuff. And I just remember meeting McSwain with Brianna,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody was telling me about her. Like, you're gonna meet her, and it's like she wasn't there like the first 3 days, and I finally meet her, and I'm like, "Oh, so you're McSwain?" And she was just like mean mugged me, like, "Yeah, so." I was just like, "Okay."
Oh, that's crazy.
It's so funny that we're like the best of friends now
Yeah,
because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she just mean mugged me like, okay, like they told you about me, so what? I'm just like, okay.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
So you had a little running with McSwain the first time.
yeah,
What was like, and you know what? You know, it was me and a couple of other chiefs. It was Chief me is going around. I would say, you know, hey, you see her right there? She's off limits. So we used to threaten we used to threaten people, right?
yeah.
You know how it was around there. Chris Brown up in the damn galley. Um
Who's
you
Chris
know what I'm
Brown?
talking about. The cook we used to
Oh,
call Chris
oh,
Brown,
you talking about
that damn,
Evans?
born with washboard abs.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We had to talk to him. We talked with all them dudes. It was crazy,
Yeah,
But we try to protect, just explain to everybody, hey, don't run them games over here, okay? Because we looking
yeah,
at you.
yeah.
Um,
I was definitely young, like 18, so it's just like people definitely try to take advantage of you.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got people looking out. That's why you always, you always got to look out for everybody, men, the young men, the young ladies.
Mm,
Let them know, right off the bat, hey, just keep focused, keep your mind straight,
yeah,
and don't get caught up. Next thing you know, you're getting flown off the ship. Damn, I got pregnant.
yeah,
And then everything goes different ways. So I try to at least let fill everybody in when they check in.
yeah.
Um, so now you're on board the Forrest Sherman for a little while. On When you got on Forrest Sherman, did you decide, hey, I want to make this a career, or were you still not set yet on making that decision to keep going forward
Yeah.
in the Navy?
At one point, I did want to get out, but everybody always tell you you deserve your shore duty and things like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And then I
yeah,
really just didn't have a plan, so I'm just like, if I don't have a plan, I'm not gonna get out
yeah, yeah.
because I didn't want to go back to my parents' house. So I'm like, unless I have a plan, this is the plan.
You hear that, everybody out there? There's some people that get out and they mom, they going right back home to mom. I'm like, damn, you just went full circle right back home. You ain't did nothing. At least go to shore duty and set yourself up even more.
Yeah,
Take that shore duty and set yourself up even more. But yeah, you're right. Now, um, but how was your personal experience on the Forest Sherman? How did you like that ship?
it was good. It definitely had its like ups and downs. I feel like we definitely were like a tight knit crew on that deployment and everything like that. And
Yeah.
then me and Brianna, we became really close.
Yeah.
And I honestly like looked up to her a lot. Like everything that, she had achieved, I had achieved. So I was definitely like in her back pocket and everything like that. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
pretty cool though.
Dang, Smarty Pants McSwain. That's why I call her. Always
Yeah.
at an ETT meeting,
Oh
and
yeah.
then
She was
I'm
talking
at the
up.
ETT meeting, and she go come on there. She right.
Go in.
She right. And I'd be like, man, boy, I want to choke McSwain right now in this meeting right now.
Like,
Because she was right. She was right. But she helped us. She helped me out a lot. Don't get me wrong. She helped me out a lot during the ETT meeting because my
yeah.
mind was all over the place.
I remember like everybody would go and it's like last would be her and it's like, okay, what you got to say? It's like, okay, you did this, you did that. she would have like a whole list of things, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
I want to be
yeah.
like her. And I just remember when we were, it was on Joint Warrior. Like she had got her she had got her East West pin. I think the first Joint Warrior, and then I had got mine's the like second Joint Warrior, and like we were literally on the mess decks in tears, crying like because she pinned me, and it was such a good moment for us. Like I remember she had got like blue jacket of the quarter, and then like that
Yeah,
following years, like she got the quarter of the year, and then I got my ESOS pin the quarter of the year. So it's just like I
yeah.
was definitely just like following in her footsteps.
Yeah, yeah. Most definitely. Boy, you wait till you gonna make chief. I know you can make chief.
Yeah,
You take the chief test yet?
I did. I thought I was gonna make it this time, but no, I didn't. But one
Okay, all
thing
right.
I did learn, like talking to like other like GSMCs and stuff, they were like that they picked a lot of people that were at sea. Because when
Yeah,
you're at sea, you can
yeah,
move them from ship to ship. When you on shore, you can't do nothing for them.
yeah, yeah.
But
And they
honestly,
were
I
right.
was kind of relieved I didn't make it because I gave birth to my son. I think it was like before the results came out. So I would
Hmm.
not have been able to like fully dedicate myself
Did you
anyway.
get your EL? You got your EL?
No, I didn't get it yet.
Okay. Hey, another guy on our panel, the Cohen. I remember he came to the ship. I don't think I'm not sure if it was you or McSwain, but y'all saw him come on the ship, and y'all call him the small chief. He's on the
Hmm.
panel with me, and he's one of the guys. He made chief without an EL qual.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, man, you can make chief without no EL qual. And he made it without an EL qual, but he,
Yeah. I've
came
seen
in
a
like a
lot of
boss.
people make it without
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that's more.
Yeah, but I was
Okay.
kind of relieved because like last year I didn't make it, and I had gave birth to my other son because I got Irish twins. So I gave birth to him the day the results came out. Then this year gave birth again, and I'm like, I want to be able to fully focus when I do make it. I don't want to be on like maternity leave and dealing with maybe like postpartum and things like that.
Uh huh. All right, I know what you mean. Um, but the really long interviews are with people that they got a captain's mask,
Yeah,
they got XOI, they got a really good something juicy to tell. But
yeah,
I was going through your stuff and I was like, man, I can't remember anything. I was like, man, she got a squeaky clean history on Forrest Show. I can't remember nothing until you reminded me
yeah,
of the little alcohol incident on
yeah.
Forrest Sherman. I was like, oh, okay, I remember. I remember. What specifically happened to that? You remember where we was at?
Yeah, so we were in Greece. I'm pretty sure the ship broke down because it's some one of the engines or
Yeah.
generators probably broke down. So we were in, I forgot where it was that in Greece, but we were in Greece, and me, Brody, and McSwain, we were like the trio. So we went out on Liberty, and it was like you walk down this area and it's like all these bars. Like we were snorkeling that day, or yeah, we went snorkeling that day, and
Hmm.
then it's the bar, so we're drinking. I'm like, oh, this tastes like juice. Like I'm like, it tastes good.
You
And
know the yeah.
next thing you know, I'm like on the bus, but I had a bag, so I threw up in a bag. But
Hmm.
then I guess if you throw up, you're in trouble. And then I went to
Yeah.
birthing and like threw up. I didn't throw up like it's not like I threw up all over the floor. It's just in a toilet. And
Yeah. Yeah.
then the next morning I remember waking up, and like usually I'm a cordial person. I talk to everybody. So I feel like no khaki would look me in the eye. And the only khaki that looked me in the eye was you. And I just remember you were like, you said something to me. It's like, well, I'll see you on mass. Not mass. I'll see you in DRB today. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, you were one of those people, you just had though like a response type of response. Like you just never knew how you would respond to something. And you just like looked at me and it's like, I'll see you in DRB today, and just like bust out laughing. I was just like, I guess that's why nobody's looking at me in the eye today.
Yeah. 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 Nobody look at your eye, but I knew when you came in there because everybody already discussed it, and you see how the politics work when put on believe me, you see. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's some craziness. Oh, your girl made sailor quarter. That's some bull crap. You know,
Yeah.
you have all that crap. But I already know y'all was gonna be fine. Now, if y'all was going up to see, the XOI and then going to mass and stuff like that, then I'd be like, yo, you need to prepare yourself because you going. But I bust out laugh because I know nothing was gonna happen to you. And for those of you out there, it was a time, in the Navy. When I first came in the Navy, it was like, oh my gosh, if you didn't go out and get drunk, I mean, you know, you you were square, they
Yeah.
pressing you to drink and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm from the, that over the Navy when you just went out and you drank and you got drunk. I remember them bringing my damn department head across the freaking uh
Yeah.
brow, but I knew y'all was gonna be fine. So y'all came to DRB, and
Yeah.
what'd you think about that experience at DRB? Because you never went again.
Yeah, I was just like, I was one of those people like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble, but I was happy when it was over, We just answered the questions, all had the same answers, two
Yeah,
drinks,
yeah, yeah,
and just kept
yeah,
it moving.
yeah,
I was happy though that we were like the first people to get in trouble because everybody after us went to mass. So I was like, I'm
yeah.
so happy I set the example. So I don't have to worry about going to mass now.
Yeah, man. After that, it was the Commander Bush. What did he say? I'm gonna hammer the dog crap out of you if you come to
Yeah.
mass. And then they
They
had
were not
open
playing
campus
no
mass.
games.
I was talking with last week it was Teresa King. She was telling me about the mass case,
Yeah.
open mass. But yeah, that was crazy. But that was really your only stint with getting in trouble, really. Because
Yeah.
I can't really think everything with you was like squeaky clean. I'm like, man, we finished this interview in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. And the crazy part is like I remember Brody, she went out with other people because she was in a different duty section. So a day that me and McSwain had duty, she went out and I let her borrow one of my purses that I had got. Like we were in like England or Scotland, one of them countries that I had bought, and I took on deployment with me. And this girl threw up in my bag. I was pissed. I was ready to like throw hands with her. Like I was
Oh,
pissed because like, of course they saw that I threw up and I went to DRB. So she was definitely trying to like, hide that she threw up and she threw up in my purse. I was like, this is like one, how am I supposed to get another one of these? Like it was in England.
shout out to Brody out there, the
Yeah.
bodybuilder. Bodybuilder now. Oh, fitness. She really into fitness.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, that's funny. She threw up in the bag. Oh man, that's crazy. So you got to you almost on Fort Sherman for 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years, and then you came up for orders. All right. And I remember I think you called me and we spoke about recruiting, or I text you or something about recruiting.
Yeah. But I know like when we were in the Forrest Sherman, I know you told me you went recruiting twice, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you had told me you went recruiting and then a couple other people on the Forrest Sherman had went recruiting too. So they were just
Hmm.
like, "Oh, you would be good at it."
Yeah, if you out there, if you're a nice looking lady, go
Yeah,
recruiting. Man, Pied Piper. They
yeah,
Pied Piper. They come to you. I'm telling you, you
yeah,
successful. I mean, like goodness gracious, female ladies never have any trouble recruiting. It's the
yeah,
guys. But yeah, yeah, recruiting. So you decided to go recruiting, and you went to my old recruiting district,
yeah.
NRD Riley. You ended up at NRS Smithfield. How'd you like recruiting school?
Recruiting school was cool. Definitely motivating. When you get to the ship, everybody's like, "Fuck this, fuck that." Like, it's just nobody wants to do anything right. But when you get to recruiting, it's like a whole different level. Like it's just like you're either a winner or you're a loser. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's it,
yeah, yeah.
And
Hmm.
everybody they get you all riled up in school, and it's like, everybody wants to be a winner. You leave. I think you leave so motivated, and then like your dreams get crushed when you actually start.
Yeah, gosh, I wish Brisk was here. Yeah, that's it. You're in school. They juice you up. So man, I'm gonna go put in 50 people this month, and then
Oh,
you get out there, you be like, what?
so I do have a couple more things to say about the Forrest Sherman. I
Go
remember
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
when you had to become our chief. So you were like the top snipe at the time, and then like we
Yeah,
had no first classes.
yeah.
And at one point you had to become our chief, and like I said, you have the craziest, like you said like the craziest things. And I remember you used to cuss us out. You would CC all the work center soups, and because it was like me, Birchfield, and I don't know who the other two were, but you would like literally cuss us out through email. And like one day you cussed me out so bad. I was
Why
like,
that
I
got
don't know
you
if I
out?
should laugh or cry right now because it's kind of funny. Like you was like, this 43 Papa one is it's a fucking soup sandwich. One day my daughter made me a soup sandwich and it didn't go too well. And I'm just like, what? Like you would like roast everybody in the emails. And I'm just like, it was funny, but I'm like, damn, like and I
You
was like,
know what?
this is probably how he's getting through these 20 something years. Like,
You know what? And I did that, at least, you can laugh at it. And it's not like,
yeah,
just count. I want you to actually laugh, like,
yeah,
and then you got the right response. I don't know whether I should be, you know, upset or should I be laughing,
yeah.
but I try to make it entertaining, a little bit entertaining, not to come off as a, like such a jerk or whatever, but yeah, that was funny.
And it's just
Well,
like you're one of those people. Like I saw like your leadership style, and like maybe like other people's leadership styles as well that like went recruiting. And I'm like, it's just something different, you know? Like I feel like you just step outside of the box, especially to like connect with people when you're like leading them, you know, instead of saying you got to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, okay, like this is kind of funny, but I'm kind of mad. And I'm like, I really don't want to run into him. And I would see like all these little sticky notes in my 43 Papa one. I'm like, oh Lord.
yeah, just over the years, and just like in my other podcast, I was like, shit, I was a first class longer than I was a damn chief or a senior chief.
Oh
When I was
really?
first, yeah, I was first class for a long time, but yeah. So, when I finally decide, to finally become, that's okay, I'm going to focus now and become a chief. I was like, the one thing I wanted to do is, you know, I never wanted to be, I wanted people to stay in the Navy. I didn't want people to
Yeah,
get out the Navy, and I'm like, so I'm going to try my best, to keep people in the Navy, to make it a work environment that everybody, I just didn't want people to go home and be like, damn, I gotta go deal with that man again today. I did
yeah,
not want people to think about that. What I really want people to do is be like, man, when I wake up in the morning, I wonder what craziness he gonna say today.
yes.
you
I
know?
remember I remember one time like the engines wouldn't start. We had like all this stuff going on. We are about to go underway. And man, you was like the EOW or whatever for getting underway for sea and anchor. And they said that like MP division or one of the divisions didn't time for modified zebra. Oh, I heard you went off. Nickerson was like, this was going wrong, that was going wrong, this was going wrong. And he was calm. Engines wasn't started, calm. Somebody didn't sign for modified zebra, he went the fuck off. And it's like the little things.
The big thing, I could, easing, little, they just kept adding up. And I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, all right, it happens. All right, it happens. And then that little thing came up, it was like, okay, now I'm really pissed.
yeah,
Modified zebra, but yeah, that was funny. I remember Nicholson. Shout out to Nicholson out there.
yeah. I like looked at you like I would be like, he's like this nerdy gangster. Like you like walk around like you got your glasses on, you do your job, but it's like you just don't know what this man gonna say. Like if he gonna cuss you out or if he's just gonna say something crazy or if he's just gonna be regular today.
And that's, that's just me. I just wanted people just to be, be off, but they'd be like,
Yeah,
be thinking. And then they'd be like, laughing, in the back of my mind, they laughing, and then
yeah,
they come to work next day, be like, I want to be could say today, what is he gonna do today? Be always
yeah,
thinking. And like I said, I dealt with some, a-holes back in the house. Like, man, I never want to be like that. I remember
yeah.
waking up and being like, man, I gotta go deal with this man. I
Oh,
gotta do this man again today. I was like, and I got another 2 years on this bad boy.
yeah,
And I never wanted to be that way. At least, if I go off, people laughing, laughing at me, in the
yeah,
background, and it's all good. But that's what I wanted to be. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that's one of my favorite crews, the Forrest Sherman. That was a fun crew, you know, because I mean, some days it's like, he's doing so much, and
yeah,
it's like, oh my gosh. So I tried to keep it interesting, keep everybody motivated, try to keep people in, try
yeah.
to, it's like, gosh, man, we didn't have that many people.
And I remember one day, like at one point in time, everybody had left out the oil lab, and it was just me and Dana, and
Yeah,
and I made second, and everything was just going perfect. Like he didn't have to like watch over me. He's like, okay, you got this, I got that. Like let's tag team this. We back up. You do this task, I do that task. Cool. But then he made first, and then y'all like took him out the lab, and I'm like, we was just like so in sync, and I was just like, why would they do that to us? But I remember I was thinking about it earlier, like when we were going through like a training cycle, and I will never forget, like he was my ETT member, and then I was his ETT member.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we literally got like no sleep because we would have drills.
yeah.
And next thing you know, one of us got to stay and watch. We got to unwrap. And you used to come in the lab and you like, yeah, just make sure y'all up for the fuel transfer because we like had it so rough. And it's just like one thing about the oil lab is it's always undermanned. People are always cycling out and leaving or whatever or getting moved around, but it's always just so undermanned.
Yeah, and that's one of my gripes I had. I was like, man, this underman crap. And like I said in my previous podcast, on my first ship, in engineering department on Forrest Sherman, um we had like about 60 people, about 55, 60 people. On
Mhm.
my first ship, we had 50 GSs.
Oh wow,
We had 50 GSs in the engineering department. And that's a stacked ship.
that
All
was
we had
a
a,
lot.
a stacked ship. So we had our duty sections were fully manned, and
Yeah,
it's a different time. And now it's like, God, man, you got to juggle around. When I talk with Art Minks, Chief Minks, and we was going
yeah.
over all the juggling around we had to do. And yeah, yeah, y'all, the old game. I was like, man, I know we was running y'all ragged. That was crazy. That
I
was a
was just
crazy
like, we
time.
just running off of coffee and vibes because
Yeah, but y'all
we
made
wasn't
it
getting
though.
no sleep. We would just sleep, like cover you up in the lab, like
And then at that, we didn't really think about y'all because I remember Chief Mason was like, "What about the old lab?" I'm like, "Man, they good. They on automatic. I ain't even got
yeah,
to. We didn't really worry about y'all because y'all kept everything straight. All y'all programs always passed, so we didn't really worry about y'all. We was worried about the
yeah,
engine rooms mostly. So y'all basically did, what y'all really wanted to do, and y'all
yeah,
maintained it. Yeah, y'all maintained it. Yeah, y'all was really out of sight, out of mind. I didn't even really think about the oil lab.
yeah. And it's nice when you can have those people like you can trust because, like, if anything goes wrong with us, it's like the MPA's fired. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I didn't even think about y'all. Y'all had y'all stuff together. So it was all
yeah.
good. So you go recruiting, you leave recruiting school just like I did, feeling like you can take on the world,
Mhm.
and then you check in, and then how'd you feel then?
So at first I felt motivated, but I felt like my LPO like crushed my dreams. Like it was horrible. Like the first few months, they do like I don't know if they did it back when you were recruiting, but they did what you call a RDB, like the first three
Yeah,
months. Like
yeah,
you
yeah,
go
yeah.
up for your
Mhm.
board and you talk to like the
The
pretty much
master
the chain of
chief, the
command.
district trainer, the assistant
Hmm.
chief recruiter. Yeah. Mhm.
And they see how you doing. And I took like my like pay and my app log and stuff. And they were just like, "You're doing horrible." They were like,
Oh.
but they were like, "We don't think that you're getting the training you need, you know."
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I wasn't. Like I did not get along with my LPO like the best at times. And it sucked because I was in Smithfield, so it was just only two of us. I
Mhm.
requested like when I requested to go recruiting to go to like a big station, like because they give you a questionnaire, probably doesn't even matter because they just gonna put you wherever. But
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like he didn't train me that well.
Mhm.
But I didn't want to throw him under the bus because I'm like, I only work with him. So like that would be so awkward going back to the station after talking all this shit and then I gotta still deal with you. So
Yeah.
it was definitely rough. But luckily my division, like, man, we had so many like heavy hitters in my division. Like one of the guys, he's like a senior chief now.
Mhm.
Like a few of them got mapped. So when I would go to MEPS, it was a station NRS Raleigh. I would
Yeah.
always go over there to like get training. So I'm like, okay, they got mapped. Let me see what they doing. You know, I'm like, oh, you
Mhm.
in school? Okay, I need to get in school. Oh, you doing this or that? Like, this is how you do stuff? Cool. Like they would do like the sales labs on me, or I would go to like Rocky Mount because they had like heavy hitters too. So
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
a lot of heavy hitters. It just wasn't in my station.
Yeah.
So, and like low key, my LPO would like take all the walking contracts. So you know how people like call the station and like, hey,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to join. Those are the people he would take. And like I remember at one point, like I had to like stand up for myself.
What was your goal? What was your goal each month,
Our goal
roundabout?
was like just two.
Just 2?
So I'm like, while I'm
So
at this school,
he didn't like take one and then give you one and,
so
alternate it?
the first person was given to me. And then after that is like I pretty much had to like work for them. Or if they like went to my high school, he would give them to me.
Mhm.
But I'm just like, you sitting here taking everybody that calls in while I'm in the high schools because he had like a lot of fat people. So I would have to like take them. Like if it was like
Yeah.
a female or something,
Yeah.
or whoever, or I would just do all the weigh-ins. He used to make me do everything. I wouldn't take the males though, but like I would get everybody's weight and stuff.
Mhm.
And when I would get their weight, I'm like, oh, so how'd you meet petty officer so and so? And they're like, oh yeah, I just called in the office. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So like that's how I found out. I'm
Mhm.
like, you ain't slick.
Yeah, how we used to do it, the walk-ins
Yeah.
would rotate to each recruiter.
Yeah.
Rotate, or as me, I used to be the rank of Durham. I used to be the rank of Durham,
Okay.
and then I went to the headquarters. We started finally doing good, and then I went to
Mhm.
the district. I was the district trainer for a little while as a GS. I went to district trainer school. That's like the
Oh
best job in
wow.
the world. But NRS Smithfield, when I was there, I mean, them dudes, they got a lot of walk-ins, and that's
Yeah.
why I was like, and the chief, I think it was a chief, or first class. They used to what was common practice. So he didn't give you he ain't feed you nothing.
Yeah. It was
That's
rough.
that's yeah, that's messed up.
And it's like like I was damned if I do, damned if I don't. You know, like if I come to work 2 minutes late, he like on my ass, and I'm like, we on shore duty. Like, so what I would do, so I wouldn't have to see my LPO's face. I would go to the schools early. Like I
Yeah.
would go to the station, get the gov, or I would just drive straight to the schools from my house. And I would try to catch all the seniors. So I built like a lot of COIs, like
Hmm.
the security guards, the janitors,
Yeah.
teachers, principals, guidance counselors, and stuff. And I would get to the ROTC classes and as well as like the English classes because I'm like, everybody got to take English. So that's a good way I could catch all the seniors. So
Yeah.
I would just go straight to the school so I didn't even have to deal with his attitude. And then things really started picking up for me. And he was the biggest hater. I ended up, I remember, I don't know if you all had 6-shooters back then,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I was going for my 6-shooter, and I remember one day he was like, "Yeah, give me all your players." So I'm like, "I got this person, that person, that person, that person." He's like, "Hold up, are you trying to get a 6-shooter?" Yep,
Yeah.
I am. And every day he would have to send our workbook to our DLCPO. So it was like one day I stayed past 6 o'clock because I'm trying to get my 6 people in,
Yeah.
and he's about to walk out, and he's like, "Oh, I sent you everything for the workbook." And I'm looking at him like, "You the LPO. And don't you see me working right now?" But
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna send it. And I fucked that shit up all up. I was like, you know what? You're the LPO. You'll fix it. She'll send it back to you. But I did end up getting my 6-shooter.
Oh
And
man.
the crazy part is like, I feel like everywhere I go, I'm just like, I'm gonna put my head down. I'm gonna just do my job and just keep it moving. But everywhere I go, it's like I get forced to be in like this uncomfortable position, which always helps me grow. Like
Yeah.
when the Forrest Sherman, when y'all took Dana out the lab and everybody, and then I was like running it, it like forced me to grow. When I was recruiting, he was about to leave after I got my 6-shooter. So I actually had to get my LPO qual. And I thought they were just gonna like send one of like cycle out the first classes and send somebody down to my station,
Hmm.
but they actually like was like, no, you're getting your qual.
Your
So
rank,
I
rank
remember
recruit in charge call.
just LPO. I
Oh,
guess
it's
it's like
called LPO now. I
yeah,
remember they was transitioning from the calling it recruiter in charge to LP. I guess LPO now or whatnot.
yeah. So
Okay.
like I had to go up to headquarters and do my board.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I'm always the first person to do the board with like the new people. So like we got like a new master chief, and I'm like, oh, this man was so intimidating too. He looked like the biggest man I ever saw in my life. Like, and I remember when I did my board, I like drove to the back of headquarters. I was like, fuck, his car is here. Like, he gonna be sitting on my board. I was hoping I would get like the ACR or something, but
Yeah.
nope, he was on my board. But luckily, I passed it. And then when I became the LPL, I was able to like run things how I wanted to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, you see people and you're like, I will never be you. That's how I felt about my LPL.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah. And just so
I
I
will,
was saying, I didn't want to be like the a-hole, so I'm gonna be different.
yeah,
Did you get a recruiter under you?
I did. So I got a second class. He was a nuke. And like me and him were like, we would call ourselves an Oreo because I was black, he was white. You got the female, the male, but
Uh-huh.
we like worked so in sync. And I will never forget. Like I remember at the time I wasn't the LPO, but he came and I took him out to PDC with me. And I was like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna show you how to get your own contract. I'm like, I don't care about all that science stuff. I'm gonna show you the art.
Mhm.
So we go
Okay.
driving and we stop in this Food Line parking lot, and I'm like, get out the car. He was like, what? I was like, it's 2 girls right there. Go talk to them. Get out the car. And he was like, okay. So I parked the car, get out the car, I talked to the girl. And then it was a white girl and a black girl. So the black girl wasn't really feeling him. So I like started talking to her, and both of them went up to MEPS like within like a couple of weeks or so. And the girl that I told him to get out and talk to, she ended up joining. So
Mhm.
I was like teaching him how to like get his own contracts and stuff like that. And even when I went on maternity leave, like that's when I had my daughter in 2018. Like he held it down for me, like, and we were about teamwork. We were like, okay, you get one contract, I get one contract, so nobody rolls a donut. And whoever
Yeah,
has
that's the
the
way it's
third
supposed to be.
contract, that's who it's for. And I remember he would, when I was on maternity leave, like if I had people going up, he would like come to my house, bring me the paperwork, and I would like sign where I need to sign, or I
See,
would like
that's the
go up
way it's
to the
supposed to be.
station. And like my chief's like, she's still putting people in. And he was like, yeah. He was rolling donuts and I was putting people in while I was on leave. And
Wow.
he was like, yeah, like those are her people, chief. Like, but we definitely like looked out for each other. Like when my chief would go to the production meetings, it was just like they are the teamwork station. And then he made first and he was getting out, so he didn't care. So he was just one of those type of people. Like I will always have these ideas. He would just be like, okay, like he would just go along with the flow. So
Mhm.
we definitely like worked good together. Like it got to the point people didn't even know who their recruiter was. Like they would be talking to him all the time, but then like they would see my name on a board with their picture. I'm like, I thought he was my recruiter. I was like, no, I am, but you can still talk to him if you want. Like, it don't matter
Yeah.
who you talk to. Yeah, so we definitely.
Yeah.
Once I ran the station, it was nice that I was able to like run it how I wanted to, and it was like we only went up from there.
Yeah. And that's cool. Y'all started rolling. You probably could set your hours, you
Yeah,
know, be
it
out
was,
there early.
it
You
was
know, that's a
nice.
great.
Like even
Yeah.
when we did presentations, like at first when I would do presentations back when I didn't want to talk to my LPO, like I didn't like talking in front of people, but I had to get confident in that area. And me and him, whenever we would do the school presentations, we would go together. And it's crazy, like he could just tell when I got tired of talking and he would step in. Or if I
Hmm.
see him starting to trip up, I would start talking. Like
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
always went to like the presentations together. So nobody had to be by themselves, like
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool
yeah,
right there. Yeah. I know, getting in front of people and talking, that's horrible. Shoot, I get up there and talk with people and, I start tripping up and saying the
yeah.
same word over and over again,
And
but
once you
it's
start
good.
tripping up, it's like hard to stop. Like you start getting hot,
Yeah.
sweating, talking fast. The next thing you know, it's just
It's like, damn, what I'm talking about.
it's horrible. But luckily we made the best out of it. And it got to the point where we was like, making goal by like the third of the month, and we'll walk around like, you want to join the Navy? No, okay, we don't care, whatever, we're a
Yeah.
goal. Like,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
have that like I don't care attitude,
Hmm.
people get attracted to that, and then
Yeah.
when you're like begging, it's like
Desperate.
yeah, it's like when a guy tries to talk to you, like if a guy's trying to talk to me, he's like desperate. I'm like, get away from me, but
Yeah.
like, oh, if I don't need you, it's like, hold up, why don't he need me?
Yeah, but that's recruiting. That's recruiting all the way right there.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, that's good. I mean, you got help, what we used to call the recruiter in charge, and they call it LPO now.
yeah,
And then you started running the way you did. Y'all started rolling, because I remember NRS Smithfield was a rolling station when I was there. I was like, damn, them mother, they already at goal by the second week.
you knew
We up.
you knew Mr. Reuter though, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember him. Hmm.
Yeah, he was
Yeah, he
a
was still there.
processor.
God, jeez.
I mean, I don't know if he's still one, but he was a processor at MEPS when I was recruiting. And it's so funny because anytime I say your name, like if I say Starks, like they'll be like Daryl, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know him.
Yeah, man. I was the best job I ever had. I went. They took me out of NRS Durham when we
Yeah.
started really rolling. Me and my recruiters, and they took me out of Durham. I became the NRTC recruiter. I did
Okay.
2 years of NRTC recruiting, and then they say, "Hey, we got another job for you." I was like, "What? We gonna make you the district trainer?" So everybody knew who I was, the district trainer. And I'm telling you, the district trainer job is the best job I ever had. That's
Yeah.
the best job in the Navy I ever had, was being a district trainer. I was like, man, I could have stayed. I could have been a district trainer. I was like, I don't be an NC now. But I was like, nah, there ain't no way. I need to go back out to sea.
Yeah. And
But
when I was
yeah.
recruiting, I actually ended up getting mapped to first.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So did you make second off the Forrest Sherman, right?
Yes, I
You
did.
made second off the Forrest Sherman. When you got to recruiting, you made first class.
Yes.
Okay. Did you get capped?
Yeah. They call it map now,
They
though.
call it a map now. Okay, all right. All right, but damn man, well, NRS Smithfield is a goal was a goal of mine. Even when I was recruiting, I'm
Yeah.
like, man, they used to have like goal like the second and third. I'm like, they got goal the second and third week. We in Durham. We still for a week still
Yeah.
looking for people. But
And it's like you
yeah,
just gotta.
man.
I used to plant them seeds. Like I know all y'all not going to college, but when you're recruiting, you run into people at the grocery store,
Yeah.
like everywhere you literally go, like you just run into people. And I will never forget this one time. Like I swear, like you always gotta do the right thing, even when people aren't watching. Because one day I ain't like my LPO, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going out of town. You got to go to this Bloom festival." So I go, and I was like, "Let me make the most of it." I'm here. It was some rap duty sailors that was helping me out. But we
Mm-hmm.
have some old people next to us. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like retired people. When they retire from the service, they're in this like kind of club. It's not kind
It's
of
the
like
VF. I can't. I know what you're talking
it's kind
about
of like
though.
the I know their name is kind of like the Coast Guard, but it's like something else guard or something. But
Yeah.
it's just for the retired people. So I'm talking to them the whole time and stuff because they're just like right next to me. So then I go back to work and my chief calls me because my LPO was like on leave. And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, yeah, the CO's coming to your office. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm like, let me put up a new plan of the week. Like, let me clean, let me vacuum. Like, let me make the office look presentable. And I'm like, why the hell is he coming to my office? Turns out one of those old people was my CO's best friend.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, so like
Mm-hmm.
he could tell him every detail, like, yeah, black female, at the time I was GSM2 Coleman, like
Mm-hmm.
he knew who I was. And,
Yeah.
he told the CO, and the CO like came down to my station that day. I was like, wow, like I'm glad I didn't have a shitty attitude.
Yeah, you never know. You never know who you're
Yeah.
gonna deal with out there. I mean, I had some stories. It's like, damn, that's the senator friend, or it
Yeah.
was crazy. Who you run into. That's why I was like, man, you got to be nice to everybody when you're recruiting out there, because
Yeah.
you could end up, it was it was an investigation because it was some dang admiral's daughter or something. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. I know you got some crazy recruiting stories. I mean, you hear some of the craziness some of them recruiters go through.
Oh
Brooks,
yeah.
the guy that's on here, oh my gosh, he's my our number one recruiter. He was my number one recruiter.
Mhm.
But oh my gosh, man, he did some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah. Look, I've done some things, but I'll tell y'all when I'm retired.
Yeah. That's why I was like, yeah, wait till you retired. So you do your 3 years. You did them all at NRS Smithfield, correct?
So I ended up doing 4 because I had got pregnant with my daughter. So
Okay.
I had
You
to
got
do like an
lucky.
extra year there.
Okay. Oops. Ain't nothing wrong doing an extra year of shore duty for real.
Yeah.
Especially when you successful. You're there successful in recruiting. So you did the extra year, you had your daughter. All right. At this time, I mean, did you get married? Right?
No.
Okay, not now. All right. Now, after recruiting, you already told me you made rank. After recruiting, you went to the Anzio. You went to OCG. And that's like, when I saw that, and I asked you for your list of duty stations. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, boy, she went to a damn CG. I was like, boy, you a hardcore sailor now. You go to a CG.
I'm I'm not that hardcore as you think. The thing about the CG is that it was decommissioning, so it wasn't like active.
Oh, okay, okay,
I'm not
okay.
I'm not that hardcore.
Yeah, man. I was like, damn, she went to a CG. Oh my gosh. That thing
Yeah.
probably falling apart, all kinds of stuff crazy. Yeah. If you had the time on there. So you decommissioned the Anzio.
Yeah,
You
so I
got there?
wasn't actually there all the way to the decommissioning because I got pregnant with my son.
That's why I was
but
like, you was dropping them. Blah, blah.
but I had him, so I got September 2022. So I was there for like about 2.5 years. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
about like 2 years and a few months.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, we were going through a modernization and we were over at BAE shipyards because they were doing it for a lot of different ships, like the Gettysburg, the Vicksburg, us.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think maybe like the Waste City at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think once COVID happened, things just started going downhill and it was just taking a lot of money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they ended up deciding to decommission our ship because I mean we wasn't getting nowhere. We would probably still be in the yards.
And
So
I was reading stories, and you was right. I was reading stories. The damn ship still decommissioning, and they were still accepting contracts to
yeah,
repair that ship. Yeah, I remember reading a story about those CGs. Good,
yeah,
good lord. They modernized the Cape St. George. When I got there, it was modernized. They had already took out the waste heat boilers. Thank God, they took out the waste heat boilers, and that ship still was falling apart.
yeah.
It's just old rust bucket. But so you was on, basically towards the end of the life of the Anzio.
Yeah.
So you was basically in the barracks. You didn't. Did you live on board?
No, so I got BH since they only had
Okay.
like it was only like the E5 and above crew because at first they like went down to like minimal manning and then like we all like started getting orders there.
Yeah.
But they only wanted like E5s and above because um they wanted you to be able to like get BAH and stuff like that. And then they probably just wanted like a more senior crew as well, since we were like going to be putting the ship back together and stuff. Because all the engines, the generators, like all of that was like out of the ship.
Wow.
It wasn't even like in the ship, so we would just be on shift work, really just monitoring like the shipyard workers.
Yeah.
We would take readings on like the dehumidifiers, like the dehydrators, and we had like a hole in the bottom of the ship, like in forward pump room. So we would like measure the water, but that was really it. Like I had got my authorizing officer qual and I had got my CDO qual while I was there.
Wow. You
Though,
got
so
CDO? Wow.
yeah, it sounds big, but it's just like we weren't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like you just carry the phone with you, and that was really about it. Unless you had to like send off a message or something like that, but.
Hmm.
And it's crazy because when I did my CDO qual, I was like the first one to do it with that CO, that new CO. And I was like, oh, I hope
Oh
I don't fail. Like every time I go somewhere, I'm always the first person to do it with like the new chain of command.
God.
And that's
So how was it with COVID?
shoot, it was nice. We barely went to work. We were in like 5 duty sections, and it would be like we would just go in on our duty day. That was it.
Hmm.
So for the longest, I would just drop my daughter off at daycare and I just go about my day. I would like go
Wow.
walk Mount Trash more, go do other things. But before COVID happened, like they told us like we could go TAD and things like that. So I actually went TAD to the turbine shop, but
Hmm.
I wasn't TAD there like that long. But that's when COVID got real, when I was TAD at the turbine shop and they were like, nobody pretty much come to work. So I like had a free month off because I was TAD to the turbine shop
Yeah.
like a month, but we weren't going to work unless you were on jobs. But since I was TAD there, like I didn't have to go in,
Hmm.
and I wasn't going to duty because I wasn't on the Anzio because I was TAD. So I got like a whole month off.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Wow.
they were like, yeah, you can go TAD wherever. So I wanted to go there because at the time since I had my daughter with me, I couldn't like really do no underways because people were doing underways and going on deployments. But I'm like, I'll just work my way into it. I'll just go TAD somewhere where I can just go home every day. And I never forget, I went on a ship with the turbine shop. And man, I was like, I need to stretch or something because I was having the hardest time trying to get over to one of the engines. And one of their firemen was just like staring at me, like, are you okay? Just like, I need to stretch. But when I actually go to a real ship, because they're going to be looking at me like, what is wrong with this girl?
Backtrack. You had showed on one of your posts you had got your associates. Did you get your associates while you were recruiting?
I did.
Yeah. What'd you get it in?
I got it in liberal arts.
Liberal arts. Yeah. That's all. That's all that matters. As long as you got
Yeah.
the paper. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was recruiting RBH, North Carolina, like, I mean, they living in trailers down there, at least in
Yeah.
Smithfield. So
Yeah.
the
I remember.
BAH was like $1,000. So honestly, I went to school because I wanted to get financial aid. Like when you could like double dip and use tuition assistance, but
Yeah.
still apply for financial aid. But
Hmm.
since tuition assistance would cover it, I would get the financial aid check. So it was like extra
Yeah.
money in my pockets.
Hmm.
And then I was out of rate for so long. So I was like, I kind of need the extra points on my exam. And then I
Yeah.
was like, oh, well, it helps me look better than everybody else. Because if it gets to the point where I'm like neck and neck with somebody, at least they can say, oh, she's in school.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it was a lot of reasons why I went to school.
Yeah. Yeah. At least you got you do got your degree. I guess you continued on to get your
Yeah.
bachelor's. Yeah.
Yep.
How far away are you?
So I got my bachelor's. It's funny,
Oh,
I got
okay.
my associates when I was pregnant with my daughter. Then I got my bachelor's in 2022 when I was pregnant with my son. So the whole time while
Wow.
I was on the Anzio, since we weren't doing anything, I was working on my bachelor's degree.
Okay. All right. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good, man.
And I got that
Uh,
in business administration and marketing. So I
oh, snap.
decided to go for marketing because I liked recruiting a lot. I just
Yeah.
didn't like the
Yeah.
responsibilities that came with it, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
those 6 a.m. calls getting cussed out or something. Because somebody don't want to go to boot camp or the paperwork is
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
But
gosh. I know.
I like the thought process behind marketing, like what makes people want to buy something or get that buy-in with something like, just convincing people are doing stuff, you know. And I
Hmm.
felt like I was pretty good at that. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to like go to school for marketing.
I learned a lot of stuff about from recruiting that I
Yeah,
applied where I went to work at, where I was a supervisor. I applied all that stuff, and it worked. Recruiting is an awesome duty. It's
yeah,
awesome duty. You learn a lot from recruiting.
yeah.
You learn a lot about people. You learn a lot about the education system. You learn a lot. Like, man, this is crazy.
You learn
You
not
learn a
to.
lot.
I used to mess up people's social security numbers or their names, and Mr. Reuter would give me that call at like 6 a.m. Like, you done fucked up this paperwork. So it really taught me like attention to detail, like one number messed up, like, and somebody can't join the Navy.
Yeah, yeah, Mr. Rudolph. Gosh, man, I'm like, man, that dude was so damn like Jesus.
Yeah. And honestly, like I could see why like you and like other people had the leadership style y'all had. It's like certain people, they just have like that charisma, like, it's like you just got it, and I feel like when I was recruiting, it's like I learned how to talk to different like people different ways, because different things motivate different people, and
Yeah,
dealing with like
you
all
right.
those future sailors, it's just like
You
some of
right.
them you just got to cuss out, some of them, you got to pat on the back and say like, I just need you to go to boot camp.
You
Like,
right. You right. You right. Different personalities, and you just learn it on the way, and you get that skill. It's a good skill to learn.
yeah,
About dealing with people. You got to deal with all types of people. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, you
I
know.
don't think I would be like the leader I am if I didn't go recruiting, because that definitely just like I like look back and I'm just like, how did I do it for so long,
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like when you're in it, like you're just all in, like you're just like, it's like I feel like you're in like survival mode. Like, okay, I got to do this. Like, I told this person not to go get a tattoo. Why'd they get a tattoo? I told these future sailors not to get married. Now I got to submit paperwork. It's like you got a ticket. Like, what in the world? Like, you're just
Well,
always problem solving at the
oh
end of the day. 'Cause
yeah,
every
problem
day
solving.
it's a new problem coming up, and like you have to solve it as fast as possible. So
We could have a podcast. Me and Brooks, we could talk about recruiting. We could bring you on, and I mean,
yeah,
we could tell all kinds of stories. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's crazy. We had one dude. Oh my gosh. I mean Moreno, Rick Hume to Moreno. He brought him into the off. He brought him to my house, and he's a few. He's like an inch over. I had to measure him before he went to MEPS, and I was on this dude forever. And I measured him. I look at Moreno, and Moreno said, "What do you want to do, senior?" And I was like, "Throw him down there." And I didn't sleep the whole night because I
yeah,
was waiting on the phone call. I was waiting on the phone call to come. And 5 o'clock in the morning, Senior Chief Kinlock, my what was he? The zone supervisor,
yeah.
basically a DLCPO. Stokes, get your ass down. Get your ass down to headquarters. I was like, oh.
Man,
Yeah, man. I had to go get it, I had to go. Me and her had to go talk with the chief recruit. He ain't
yeah,
yell at us or nothing. He ain't yell at us or nothing. But he gave us good talking to. But yeah, I stayed up the whole night because I knew that dude was going. Because I knew I was gonna get that. I was waiting for that phone
yeah,
call.
Yeah, I remember always sending those people down and just having a prayer. And like, I don't know back then if y'all had the system where like it would turn green if they joined, like it'll turn like yellow, like their information if something was like slowing the process, like if they were
Yeah,
missing
yeah.
something, it'll be red if they were like done.
That's cool. That's cool. Man, I
Yeah.
wish we had that. We didn't
So
have that. Just get
once
that
they
phone call.
once we saw they was out of medical, we were like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Like, cool. All they gotta do is pick a job. But
Yeah, yeah, he's usually downhill from there. Oh my gosh, recruiting. Man, that have you up all night long.
yeah.
Just waiting on the phone call.
So I actually had one girl I put in, and when I first met her, like she would take the practice test. It was super low. She was overweight. Like she was a med read. But I kept working with her. Like when I would get bored, I would just call all the people that weren't qualified. I'm like, hey, like, have you been
The rock run.
studying?
We call it the
Like,
rock run.
yeah, I would just go through the whole list of people, and I know they would just be feeling like, oh my gosh, she's checking up on me. And like, I think that's why people like gravitated towards Smithfield a lot, because I mean the Raleigh recruiters, they were getting so many people, they didn't have to put that like love and care into you because they
Yeah,
always had
yeah.
like the next person coming. But in Smithfield, it's just like we had to like call and check up, so that we could have some people ready for the next month. But this girl I put in, man, she like ended up losing the weight. She ended up passing the ASVAB. She was one of those people that had to get taped and had to like watch her the whole time. But she
Hmm.
was like older. She was like in her 30s. Like she already like had put on first class. She like a whole officer now. like she
Really?
um
Wow.
she had she was a PS, and I swear she passed the test every time, first time up. And I think she did like the MESEP or one of those like nurse medical programs.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's actually a Lieutenant JG now.
Damn.
And I'm like, I'm so happy, I didn't like give up, like, oh, just because you're like overweight, or, just because you didn't pass the practice test the first time. And honestly, like I ran into like people that I put in the Navy as well too. And
Hmm.
I'm like, people see mamas now, and I'm just like,
you know,
I'm young.
I
How
don't
am I
know if
your
you
see mama?
remember I think Stecker. He was an OS on Forrest
Yeah.
Sherman. He got recruited out of my station.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
he got recruited out of my station. He actually attrited. He left and then he
Oh no.
came back. Yeah, yeah, he came back and we put him back in. But yeah, that was Stecker. Yeah, it was amazing. You see him, you'll be out there. I was like, man, Stecker was on the same ship as me. I put you in. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, recruiting, man. Yeah, and it's such really good stories about recruiting, that I remember that, like this one guy, he was doing so messed up in school, and he's like one of them little wannabe gangsters.
Hmm.
And I had to go to the school and talk with his teacher.
Oh
And she's
yeah.
like, you tell him to come to class and I'll get him the makeup homework and he can do the homework. Got him
Yeah.
to class, got him into the Navy. And when he came, he's, one of them dudes that was, talking, yo, this and that, talking that, that hip hop language and stuff like that. And he had to come back because he had a charge he had to take care of. And his mom came back, he was in his uniform and he was like, yes, senior chief, no, senior chief. I was like, just go ahead and handle your business and spend time with your mom and stuff like that. And I could see the gleaming face on his mom, you know,
Yeah.
that he actually, instead of being out here possibly getting killed and doing some craziness, he's
Yeah.
in the Navy. And I just remember her face. He had this big old smile. And then when they was walking out the room, she turned back and she's like, thank you. And she left the room. I was like, that's probably was one of the best stories I ever
Yeah.
had from recruiting.
And I feel like you get that so much when you're recruiting. When people just say like thank you, like I'm just like I like you really just like feel it, because it's like you feel like you're like their third parent. And I'm like,
Yeah.
when I went
Yeah.
when I was 23 years old, I'm like, how am I this child's third parent? you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And they looking up to you because they ain't really had nobody,
Yeah.
to really guide them. And then you guide them and you see him go off. I was like, man, that's an awesome story right there. But yeah, they got really good stories. But you went to the TAD to where'd you go TAD to the coal?
So you said why or when?
Yeah, why'd you go TAD to coal?
I just wasn't doing nothing. So I was on the Anzio, and they were like, "You can
Mhm.
go TAD. Just let us know where."
Mhm.
So one thing I'll say about recruiting too, it taught me to network. Like
Mhm.
a closed mouth don't get fed. So when I was TAD to the turban shop, first of all, I had this one day. I got the way I got TAD to the turban shop is one day I was talking to Nickerson. So I went to Marmac. I was talking to Nickerson.
Mhm.
So he like ran into this girl, Bree. He's like, "Congrats on making GSM1." Like she made it in like 5 years, right? So I'm like, "I think I know some people that know you. Like some people on my ship. Do you know these people?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah." So fast forward, I go to a brunch and I see her there. And I'm like, "Hey, if you," she was like, "Yeah, I need a parking pass to BAE." Well, I was like, "Well, if I give you a parking pass to BAE, can you walk me around Marmac?" So that's how I got TAD to the turban shop. And
Mhm.
you remember Barker?
Yeah, yeah,
He
Barker.
was like the chief over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like when I went TAD to the turban shop, I just remember talking, and then I see him like pop out of his like cubby. So I go TAD there, and then when I get TAD there, I meet this guy Henderson. He's a GSM1 at the time,
Mhm.
and me and him kept in contact. And when the chief he went to the coal, when the results came out, I was like, "Hey, did you make chief?" And he's like, "Yeah." So one day I was like, "Let me call, text, email him." I'm like, he gonna reply to one of them.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "I want to come TAD to your ship." I'm like, "Yeah, are you all like in port?" And he's like, "Yes, we are." So I like meet him on the pier, and he like walks me around. And of course I'm like screaming oil lab. I'm like, "I can go to the oil lab if y'all want," like, that's what the MPA wants to hear.
Yeah.
But I decided to go because I was out of rate for so long. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was on the Forrest Sherman from 2011 to 2015, and it was like 2021. So I was like, I need to go play Navy somewhere. I can't
Yeah.
be going to my ship, not like really remembering stuff. At least if I go
Uh-huh.
TAD, like I'm not permanently stationed here. So if I fuck up, like I literally went TAD with this girl Morgan, and I'm like, "Girl, if we fuck up, then this ain't our ship. If we do good, then we do good. So yeah, I just wanted to like kind of sharpen my skills and everything like that, and just get back into it and try to be on the other side. Like even when I went there, even though I was like screaming oil lab, I really just wanted to be in the engine room.
Right.
So like, I was saying oil lab to get me in the door, but
Yeah, yeah,
I need
yeah.
y'all to put me in the engine room, like for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like
it
it's
it being in the oil lab, it it degrades your knowledge, because
yes,
you're in there, it's a good life. I ain't going in the engine room.
yeah.
You
Like
know?
look, that was me, like Lee. Oh my god, Lee hated going in the engine room.
Yeah, man.
Fuck that.
Yeah, yeah. Because we asking me to leave. You won't go, nope, nope, nope,
But I,
nope.
I would go down to the engine room to go be with McSwain. So that's how I got like my ERO call. And I remember one time Chief Mason was on watch, and like she brought up her samples and her hair was like all braided and cornrow. And it was because I was down there like braiding her hair, and it's like, "What are y'all up to?" So it's like with me, I was like, "I'll go stand ERO with her," and like she would like come do all that with me.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I went to the coal, yeah, I was like, I need to work on like my pack qual and all that stuff,
Hmm.
because I'm like, I've been in a while now, but my chief over there, he like you would have thought he like built the ship. He was like so smart.
Hmm. Oh
Like
yeah. Yeah,
like
you
I
get
would
them
ask
special
questions and
people.
you could just see it just like turning like I'm like, did you like build the ship, man? But
Yeah, man.
it was cool, like, leading the division. And I was TAD with another GSM1. She like had got mapped when she was over there,
Hmm.
but like her command had like mapped her, but we found out when she was there. And I used to say like I was Nickerson and she was like my Miller. Like
Okay,
she was
yeah,
like in the turbine shop, so she was like all into the GTMs, and I was just more like
yeah,
Nickerson. But
yeah.
like we were just like in sync.
Hmm.
Like, and we would have our own quarters. It like I one thing I can say is I love working with people like I'm in sync with.
Hmm.
We would have our own quarters, and me and her, just us on the boat deck.
Yeah.
And I would like network with people, and she wasn't like a people's person, so she would just be like, "Why are you like talking to people?" She'll just like walk straight through the P-ways, and I walk, I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
one of the guys on the ship actually made like this cold brew coffee. So like every morning I would go get like cold brew coffee from him. She would go to the vending machine and get donuts, and we would sit like on this thing under the boat deck, and we would discuss what we would put out like at quarters.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, yeah.
he was like, "You're too nice. Like you need to be the bad cop, and I need to be the good cop." So we would like literally be like, she'll be like, "Colt Rodriguez, you're gonna be the bad cop today, and I'm gonna be the good cop." So it was funny. But I
Yeah,
did end up,
Nickerson and Miller used to do that. They used to get together and they just talk, That's
yeah,
why, when you got good first classes, it makes your life a whole lot. And remember that time we didn't have any first classes. It makes your life a
yeah.
living hell because you got to do a lot of work. But yeah, man, when y'all get together and talk like that, that's for real. It takes a whole lot of,
It
you
takes a
know,
village.
weight. It takes a weight off the chief and it balances everything out so the chief can
Yeah.
do whatever he's going to do.
And let me
Hmm.
tell you, like when I was on the call, when I tell you we had casualties all the time, and that underway, that specific underway that she was there with me. My chief was leaving halfway through the underway. We ain't have not one casualty, and I'm like, it's going too perfect. I was like, something about to happen. As soon as he left, you hear engineering casualty. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like loss of 2 Alpha GTM. I'm like, seriously?
Oh gosh.
So it was nice because we got to like lead like with him there and without him.
Without him, yeah, yeah. So you
But
got so you got a underway LPO in
yeah.
your eva. So yeah, you straight. You be
And then
straight.
I ended up getting my pack when I was there. And
Oh,
like,
good.
I remember I would like stand watch and I would always be like, I have to go to the bathroom, or I need to go make coffee real quick. And my chief, I was saying UI under him. And he was kind
Mhm.
of like like, but he was more social, but like wear his glasses. He was just very smart and stuff. And he was like, Rodriguez, when you come to watch, make sure you got your coffee, your water, your notes, make sure you use the bathroom. Like, because I was always, like, I think I was just so used to being like an oil king and being able
Yeah,
to move
yeah.
around. So just having to be
Yeah, yeah.
stationary was
Mhm.
hard. But
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I remember when I got my qual and they actually put me on a watch bill, I was like, fuck. Like if something go down, it's me. And I would literally just go through like the EOCC like
Yeah,
24/7, like,
yeah,
okay, do you
yeah.
know this? Do you know that? And like you do that until you get your first casualty. So I
Yeah.
remember somebody was doing a water wash and they closed the fuel valve to the
R
GTM that
r
was online.
Online, of course.
So I'm like sitting on pack and I'm like thinking there's another alarm. I'm like, ding. And like my chief on watch was like, what's that noise? And you know how when you're more experienced, you're like, hold up. It's like a whole different alarm. So then I go into my actions and like slow the ship down. And my chief was in his rank. He was like, I knew that was a pack slowing down the ship right there. And I was like, I was just happy I did my actions right, because next thing you know, like the CO was like
Yeah.
breathing down my back. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness. But after that, I was able to like, relax more on watch, because I'm like, cool, I
Mhm.
got my first casualty. I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna just sit here and read a book. But it was nice. Like I said, it's like, if we fuck up, I mean, it ain't our division. We gone. But if we make a difference, that's cool too. And people used to walk around and it would just be like, thank you so much. And I'm like, I hadn't even did nothing this morning. I didn't even spoke to you this morning. What are you saying thank you for? But
That's good. They thanking you.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
one one
That's Go ahead,
one
go ahead.
crazy thing that happened to me though is we were gonna get underway and it was only one person. So I tried to get away from the oil lab, and then somehow I got put right back into it. It was an oil
Oh.
king, and he didn't get underway with us.
Mhm.
And I remember I saw my chief one morning, and we were about to go through like AV cert or something.
Mhm.
And he was
Oh
like, "I got
god.
some bad news for you," and I'm like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, so and so didn't get underway, and I don't even think they're staying with the ship, so you're gonna be in the oil lab." So that day during seeing Anchor, I was like literally like going through all the like JP5 alignments, and of course
Yeah.
the MPA met me back there breathing down my neck because
Hmm.
it's somebody new. He doesn't know me, so
Yeah.
he's like, "Don't fuck this up," and I'm like, "Chill, I got this. I got this. Like I got the I got the EOS. I got this." So I ended up I don't think I stood Oil King, but I ended up becoming like the LPO of the oil lab. Like I had access to everything, like ordering parts, SCED, everything. And I ended up like training like all the Oil Kings up for JP5 stuff and even like other people like in the division. And
Hmm.
it's crazy because like my chief had every call besides Oil King. And he was
Yeah.
he was like, I want to stay in Oil King. So I know when they went on deployment, he actually was like, I don't want to stay in EIL no more. I've been staying in
Hmm.
EIL for however many
Hmm.
years. I want to stay in Oil King.
um,
So
how long was you on the coal?
I was on a coal roughly. I like went like maybe that March, and I was there on and off until like that November
Hmm.
because I was mostly just doing underway dates.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
But you got a lot of experience on from the coal.
yeah. I was like, how are y'all getting up at 2 a.m? And I was like, I've been sleeping like a princess all these years.
Hmm.
It's like it really gave me a taste of that ship life again.
Yeah, yeah.
And I,
So go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
and I was just like, do you really want this? Do you really want to go back to the ship?
Yeah, it's rough being on shore duty and going back to your ship, especially
Yeah.
if you've been out the rate for a while. You've been recruiting, you ain't been concentrating on your rate. But so you was TAD on the coal, and then from the Anzio, you got orders to Marmac after your time on the Anzio?
Yes. So
Okay. All right.
I got orders to Marmac because that's when I got pregnant with my son.
Okay.
Um,
Number
I had got
three.
married in 2021. So in between my time on the coal, it's like I went to the coal and my last name was Coleman, and then I came back
Hmm.
and my last name was Rodriguez. And
Yeah.
people were like looking at me like, "You look familiar, but we don't recognize your last name." And I'm like, "Yeah, I got married." So after I got married, we were like, "Oh, like I had my daughter by somebody else, and then my husband has a son by somebody else." So we wanted to start our family.
Yeah.
I was like, might as well start my family since my ship is decommissioning. Like,
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to get sent to another ship that actually needs me. And then I get pregnant, and then they're like, oh, we don't have a replacement. So
Okay. All
I was
right.
like, while the ship is decommissioning and before I get some orders, we might as well start a family.
Mhm.
So
That's crazy.
we did that, and that's how I got to Marmac.
Hmm.
So while at
So go ahead.
oh no, you go ahead.
So you're married, your husband, where's he stationed at now?
So he's stationed at PSD.
Oh, he is PSD. Lucky him.
Yeah.
PSD. So right now you're still at Marmac, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So y'all on that, one gotta be on shore duty and the other person gotta be at sea, the other
Yeah.
person at sea. So that's good. That's good. One parent home with the kid, another person get to go to sea. You like Marmac. Marmac seemed to be an all right place.
I mean, it's cool. Like, it's crazy because like me and the Navy have like a love-hate relationship. Like, I feel like it's weird that I feel like I have to be stressed out. Like in Marmac, don't cause no stress. Like, I thought you were frozen. It's like a good, work-life balance.
Hmm.
I was in the pregnancy division, and then I asked to go
The
to
pregnancy
QA.
division. The pregnancy division.
We had a whole division. It's like we did like the administrative stuff. So, and we would just turn it into admin, but it was so many pregnant people there. All the people that got sent off the ships
Yeah, yeah,
would come
yeah.
there, which it was no joke. Like you think you have problems with people on the ship. Like we get those problems there.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
honestly, it's like one of the reasons why, like, when I go back to the ship, I'm be like, are you sure you want to get pregnant? Like, because these girls getting pregnant don't got no driver's license, not getting BAH. Like, oh, I'm gonna put my baby on a scooter. Like, what? You can't put a baby on a scooter and take them to daycare, But
That's crazy. Oh
yeah,
man.
so I had asked to go to once I came back off of maternity leave, I asked to go to the QA division.
Mm-hmm.
So like I got the information for the chief over there. So I'm like, cool, I'll just be here until I leave. But then one day I was like, Chief, gotta talk to you. And he was like, what's up? I'm like, I'm pregnant. So but I did keep going to the ships until once I started showing, I
Yeah.
stopped going to the ships. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm like working on like my QAI and my QAS and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I at least want to leave there with something, not just saying I was in the pregnant division.
Mm-hmm. You should ask them to go to, well, 3M school, 3M coordinator school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a real good school to go to. Um, you have two kids, and you have three kids. Because I was thinking, and then you say, yeah, I already had my kid in September. I was like, damn, yeah, I see the kid online all the time. Why I think you only got
Yeah.
two kids, but you got three kids. Is it tough being in the Navy with a family?
Oh
Is it
yeah, it
it's
is.
tough?
It's tough.
Hmm.
Like, especially this past year because my daughter was in daycare, so is my son. But with me having like my pregnancy appointments and I was high risk, plus the daycare calling me, telling me to come get my son because he got a fever, plus their like regular appointments. I
Hmm.
felt like I was a stay-at-home mom this year. And it's just like I tell people at work like what time I have to wake up and get them out the house by, and it's a lot.
Yeah,
Sometimes we're
yeah, it's
forgetting
a lot.
wipes, and then I'm already at work and they're like, hey, can you bring us some wipes? I'm like, what? No.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
but when I went underway, I'm not gonna lie, it was like a weight off of me because my daughter's dad had to get her. And I'm like, Tag, you're it. Like, you got to go to the appointment.
It's like that's like your vacation.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like, I just remember one time I was about to go underway, and like, I think at the time my daughter, she was like probably 2, so like she was still peeing in the bed, and like one day she like peed on me, and like I think we were going through like in-serve, so we had to be at work early.
Hmm.
I was like, man, I can't wait to get underway to go to sleep. Like, I was like, I can't wait for seeing Anchor because I am taking my ass to sleep.
Oh,
And I'm like, I see why people like getting underway, especially people with families, because it's honestly like a break, especially when you're doing the majority. I'm
yeah,
always the
yeah,
one that gets those calls like, hey, come get your kid, or, you know, having to prioritize the appointments and things like that.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's tough, and I didn't realize that until I was like, man, you do a lot of stuff, right? You do a lot of stuff,
yeah.
you know, and I didn't realize that. And when I got on the way, when Forrest Sherman got away, I asked my mom, hey, hey, if you're retired, could you just go stay with stay with, my wife while I get underway, just to help out a little bit
Yeah.
because she was going to school at the same time, stressing about everything. My daughter, she going through her little episodes and stuff, But yeah, yeah, it's tough being a parent in the Navy, and uh, two parents, of course, is always better than one. But man,
Yeah.
it's a lot of stuff you got to deal with. Then you get underway, then you be like, thinking about them all the time.
Yeah. I used to be crying in my rack. Like, and that's the thing with me and the GSM one, we were so in sync. Like, she could look at my face and we'd be like, let's go outside. Let's go have like a little cry session real quick. And then like toughen up now. You can't let nobody see you crying. But it's definitely tough. And I'm actually in my window, like looking for orders now.
Hmm.
So our detailers asked us like, who wants to go back to sea? And I don't know why I said me, but I said me. It's like one of those things. It's like I know I need to go back to sea. I mean, I don't even count the ANSI as sea duty, but it's just like I know for me to progress in my career, I need to go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm just like,
Get
why
get
would I, like, after I did that, I was like, why would I say that? Like, when I could just be on shore duty, but
Shore duty. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Gotta get
my
it back at
husband,
the
he can
sea.
potty train the boys while I'm gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, you remember Colberg?
Yeah, yeah, he's a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, he's a stay-at-home dad. He had called. I was in a shopping. I was in the grocery store, and he called me. And I was like, I gotta take this call. This my boy right here, Colberg. I think I sat in the store for like 45 minutes. We sat in the store 45 minutes talking to Colberg. Yeah, he's stay-at-home mom. His wife, she's the chief on the
Yeah,
Mount Whitney. And I was like, man, that's awesome right there. That's freaking awesome. I'm supposed to have him on, talk about being a stay-at-home dad. He said it's rough too. He said his
yeah,
kids talking to him different languages, telling them off in different
yeah.
language.
Look, I honestly give it up to stay-at-home parents because I look forward to Mondays. On Mondays, I'm like, y'all are gone. I just stay at home with the little one. Like, we go back to sleep. And like, I don't even know how my daughter be making it to school every day on time, but I'm proud of myself. Definitely proud of myself. She's only missed like one day because I really just be tired, you know. We're
Yeah, I
both
know.
tired.
Yeah.
Before,
Hmm.
when it was just my daughter, it was easy. And then when it was my daughter and my son, it's like, okay, you get one, I get one. Now we got three kids in the household. So it's like, okay, well, one of us got to have one and the other one got to have two. So it's rough.
Hmm.
It's rough and I'm on leave. So when I go back to work, I don't even know.
All right. Um, so ba- you came to us as a fireman, and you grew up Forrest Sherman, you left as a second class, got to recruiting, put on first class, got mapped to first class, became a LPO of a recruiting station. So you got some leadership there developed. You went to the ANZO. Uh, then you went to TAD to the coal, where you got even more leadership. You
Yeah.
know, leadership. How was that transition from being, basically being the person, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that, and now you're in the GSM-1 position, about to get ready to go back to another ship. You go be the LPO. You go be the LPO at sea.
Yeah.
Whether it be the oil lab. Hopefully it be an engine room. This time. You
Yeah.
know,
Hello.
how do you feel about that position of being, in charge? You come along and you think about these things like, damn, I remember, I was a fireman, second class. And now I'm in, I'm standing in front of these people at quarters, and I'm in charge now. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. Like, I feel like it I have a snapshot of what I want to be and what I don't want to be,
Hmm.
and how I can see myself like leading my division as well. And, I'm just ready. Like, I'm ready for the challenge. Like I said, like, I just focus better under stress. Like, I do better under stress.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I say. I think when you go to this ship right here and you're focused, that's when you could shine. And that's when, they could call over to 1MC and it'd be like Chief Select Amber Rodriguez,
Yeah.
you know. And I still keep in contact with some of the guys, we serve with. And it's like, man, this a whole different world being, being a chief right now, you
Yeah.
know. And that's when I at that last question I got, when you do assume that role, you ready to jam them anchors up in somebody, because I'm serious. Because I remember we was in CCS one time, and I remember Chief Brianna Witherspoon. You remember her,
Hmm.
Brianna Witherspoon? She's in the corner talking to MR1 one time. MR1 was getting kind of sassy, you know. And then I I was listening, and then I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'll see how far this go. And then he started pissing me off, and I went over there, and I was like, okay, this a one way now. It's a
Yeah.
one way now. This between you and me, But I'm the one doing the talking. You ready for
Yeah.
that? You ready for that?
I am like, and honestly, I feel like the cold gave me a taste, of all those personalities. And one thing I learned too is to just like, like know your people. Like, when I was in the cold, like my chief was telling me, he was telling me all the tea. And I'm like, huh? And I was like, you know your people, you know what I mean? Like, you know, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, I want to make sure I'm like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I say, you choose your own lane
Yeah,
and your leadership style. And like I said, my leadership, I just wanted everybody to not go home and think about me in a bad way. I gotta go
yeah,
deal with this dude in the morning. I wanted everybody to re-enlist. But Smarty Patrick Swain got out, Rivera Diaz got out. I was like, God, they dropping like flies.
yeah. And like good people are still getting out. Like,
Yeah,
I just feel
yeah.
like they like are knowing their worth, and
Hmm.
a lot of
Yes,
people
they
that I
are.
know that got out, I mean, they honestly like went on to better things.
More successful even
Hmm.
outside. It's for real. Yeah, yeah.
They be
That's why I was
making me
like,
want
man,
to get out.
you can't keep a good sailor down. I'm telling you, man, they out there successful, doing some big things for real.
Yeah.
All right. But yes, man. Yes. But let me tell you something. This has been an awesome interview. I contact McSwain. McSwain must be don't be online a lot. Cause I contact
No, she
her
don't.
and I was like, hey, I need you to pop in. I just need you to
Hmm.
pop in just for a few minutes. And she never got back to me. But I never hardly see her online. So she's just like one of them people that don't be online
Yeah.
too much. I don't blame her.
Yeah. And
But
she
it's
had
been
told me that too. Like she was actually here a couple of weeks ago. She came and
uh-huh,
visited me and the kids.
hmm.
She's actually my daughter's godmom.
Okay, all right. All right. See how that all work out? From a smug face to
Yeah.
best of friends for
She
life.
was like, it can only be one of us in this division. And I'm like, that's the vibe she was giving me. And I'm
One
like,
one diva in this division is gonna
yeah,
be me.
exactly. I'm like, it's cool. I don't want to be a diva though. But I'm happy she's definitely like in my life and in my kids' life and everything. So
Yeah. So this next part of the podcast is a shipmate shout out. You can give a shout out to anybody you want to give a shout out to. Anybody in the Navy, out the Navy, doesn't matter. Give a shout out to a shipmate out there.
so the person I want to give a shipmate shout out to, I mentioned her, Morgan, but she's a GSM one as well, Erickson. That's the one I was saying, like she was like the Miller and I was like
Hmm.
the Nickerson. Like,
You know what? That's who that was. She had, I guess that was her. She had popped in.
oh
You
yeah, I
should have
had
put her
sent her the
on.
link. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
And it's like we definitely like boosted each other up, like, and helped each other out a lot. Like I feel like what I brought to the table is what she needed and like vice versa. And we just like learned a lot from each other.
Hmm.
And honestly, I don't think I would have got through that underway without her. So definitely like shout out to her.
For real. That's a tag team partner right there. You always
Yeah.
need a partner. Always need a partner. It's all a team thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm a dang oil king. I don't know what a scavenge and supply filters at on the damn GTM at Miller.
Yeah.
And that's where you need, your strong first class, so like Miller and Nickerson to run that stuff down there. Because I'm like, damn, I'm
Yeah.
an oil king. Explain to me, tell
Yeah.
me what's wrong.
And it was like I was the oil king, and she was like, I don't think she was ever. She may have been in an oil lab before, but she was definitely more like engine room savvy. Like, and I just remember one time we were taking apart something, and she was like, "You need to do an FWP," and like the MPA just lit up. Like, he was like, "Huh? A FWP? What you like know about that?" But she was from Marmac, like turbine
Yeah,
shop. They did
yeah,
those over
mhm,
there, but
yeah.
of course
You
that
don't.
wasn't
We just go in there and fix stuff and.
yeah, it wasn't a common practice on the ship. So I was just
Hmm.
like, hold up, like, I can learn these things from her. And like, if somebody got one little thing wrong, no, you need to do this all over. And I'm just like, what is wrong with it? Like that attention to detail that she had with those things, it
Uh-huh.
definitely like helped. So we definitely like just balanced each other out to the team.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, man. It's good when you got a team like that because it makes life so much easier. Things flow a lot better, and that communication back and forth, and the division just runs a
So much
whole lot
smoother.
smoother, so
Yeah.
much smoother when you got that communication between each other. But I'm gonna give my shipmate shout out. I'm gonna give it to that Kenneth Miller out there,
Yes.
GSM one, the GSM one that broke my heart. and said he
Oh,
wasn't getting it. He's not really listening to the Navy. I was like, oh my God, they dropping like flies. He's one of the ones that really broke my heart when he realized. Okay,
yeah,
I
I
got a ranking who I rank top five GSs, and he's in my top five GSs in
yeah,
terms of can break down the engine and put it back together. He's in my top five.
yeah,
He's like one of the best out there. Let me tell you, that dude is amazing,
yeah,
smart, you know, good leader, well spoken, can really connect with people, you know, kind
yeah.
of charismatic. Everybody, you know,
He
flocked
just had it
around him.
all. He was like the total package.
Yeah, yeah, he was. He was. And shout out to GSM, former GSM1 Miller. And like I said, once I make that big stock market money, I'm gonna come visit everybody, buy everybody a steak dinner once I visit you in your different states. And I told him I'm gonna come sweep up his po folk garage shop for him. So shout out
Yeah,
to GSM1 Kenneth Miller out there, But yes. So everybody, that's the show with GSM1, Surface Warfare, Amber Coleman Rodriguez. We thank her for coming on the show today. Yeah, give her a round of applause. Give her a round of applause. Thank you for the opportunity of being able to serve with you. You was like I said, you was out of sight, you was out of mind. You always did your job, and we didn't really have to worry about you because you just doing your thing back there. And
yeah,
that's when I put up that shipmate shout out, and I was like, I gotta think of one other person, Amber Coleman. She's back in the old lab. We didn't even have to worry
yeah,
because we
yeah.
didn't have the first classes or anything during that time. But yeah, that's a crazy time. But I really appreciate you. I see, God bless you and your family.
Thank
It
you.
put some beautiful pictures out there. And that's what I just love to see. Just a family enjoying life together, got everything going good, and just being successful. And I know you're going to continue on. I'm just waiting for you
That
know,
call.
that, that chief select,
Yeah,
uh, get there, get on that, and
yeah,
gotta round it up. But my girl Brianna, she wanted to be. She's like, I'm gonna be the first master chief. Be the first master chief.
mhm.
Hey, she keep going up. Hey, might be what you ever thought about LDO or chief warrant officer?
Me? No,
Yeah, being an MPA.
I mean, at one point I was thinking about being an MPA. I don't know if you were there for Baron.
Yeah, yeah, I was.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like I was really like in sync with him, and seeing him like move, it made me want to be an MPA, but I don't think so. I think I'm fine with making chief and retiring. And I got a quick story. So I was thinking the other day, I was like, I really just want to get out, and I don't even know if I asked God for a sign or not, but I
Hmm.
was walking my neighborhood, and I always walk this one specific way. So that day, I decided to go a different way, and I run into retired Master Chief Starks.
Hmm.
He was a GSCM, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I ran into him because he was in charge of the turban shop when I went TAD. But of course, he didn't really recognize me because I mean I was just TAD there for a short period of time. But I
Hmm.
was telling him like, yeah, I went TAD. I remember you and stuff. And then we started talking about the Navy. He started talking about retirement and you know everywhere he went when he was in the Navy. And I'm like, man, I think that was my sign to stay in. I was like, God damn. And I'm like, what was the chances that I just walk a different way and run into this man in his house? Like,
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? That's
yeah. And then
crazy.
of
Yeah, I
course,
know Starks though. I remember Starks. Yeah, he's
anytime I
like, damn,
say,
you got your Starks.
and it's funny because anytime I mention you, I was like, yeah, like my old senior chief, he has a podcast, Starks. It's like Daryl. And it's like anytime I say your name to somebody like Starks, they're like Daryl, and I'm like, yeah. It was like the Navy is so small.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember Starks, man. Starks a real good guy. We used to have fun together.
Yeah. So
Real good guy.
I
But
guess that
yeah,
was my
man.
sign to stay in right there. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I guess I got to do the last 7 years.
Hmm. All right. How many years you got in now?
So I just hit my 13-year mark.
13-year mark. Yeah, man. Yeah. 7, 7. you know, you will get to that point. At that point, you're like, damn, all this time now went by, and it's almost time for me to retire.
Yeah.
Then you might say, I'm gonna do 2 more years. I'm gonna do 4 more years, go to 24, be at 26, and like damn. But it goes by fast, and then you don't realize, like, damn, we're retired.
Yeah. I told my husband, I was like, you can keep on going. I'll be here with the kids. I'm gonna just do my 20 and be out.
But again, hey, thank you for sharing your story with Snipes Castle. And
You're welcome.
like I say, you was an awesome shipmate. You had one of the best attitudes on the ship. You're always smiling. I don't think, I keep asking people, I don't even think I ever seen Amber mad before at anybody. You ever see
Yeah.
Amber mad? She always smiling. I was
Yeah.
like, even when she getting told off, she's still smiling, you
Yeah.
know. But you was an awesome person to work with. And I appreciate you coming. Again, hey, tell your husband thank you for letting you have the time to talk to me.
I will.
And you enjoy the rest of your day. Tell your family, say hi. And like I said, when I get make that stock market money, I'm
Yeah.
gonna send out that email, say, hey, I'm heading that way. All right, what are we
Yeah.
going to eat? All right. All right there, Amber. You have a good day, and thank you again for joining us. All right.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Hard work, work, hard work, work, hard work, work, hard work, hard work. That's what they say. Hard work, hard work. I earn my pay. Hard work, hard work.
All right. Just stay on.